there was a point when I thought that if you want to find how things really are, you have to turn to the sciences. And there was a point when I said, well, the sciences say very interesting things. They still interest me much more than other things, but they have no absolute grasp of truth. I really don't remember. I can't. It must have been a gradual process. Part of it was that Imre Lakatos very often came to my lectures. Yes. Now, Imre Lakatos was in favor of science. You know, he was a science freak, as one might say. And just to excite him a little, I sometimes made snide remarks about science. Now, having done so, Imre Lakatos one fine day told me, why don't you write up all your remarks and I argue against them and we have a wonderful discussion about it in a book. But he said, make your remarks as extreme as possible. So I made them as extreme as possible, and that was the book Against Method. Only when it got published, Imre Lakatos was already dead, so he could not write the second part of it. Now, Philipp Frank was one of the founders of the Vienna Circle. He was the successor of Einstein in Prague when Einstein went to Berlin. He was a good friend of Einstein. He was a physicist. And he was also a founder of the Vienna Circle, of the first Vienna Circle, which started a few years before the traditionally so-called Vienna Circle, and of the second Vienna Circle, and became professor in Harvard. I came to know him, and I listened to a lecture of his in Alpbach. And there he said, look, my dear friends, everybody talks about the Copernican revolution, and everybody talks about how bad Aristotle was. And everybody at the same time says that scientists are empiricists. But if you look at it, Aristotle was the real empiricist. So the Aristotelian arguments were really good arguments. So if Copernicus won, he did not win because of empiricism, but because of something else. This was another element which lingered and started festering on later on.